Treasures aren't always piles of glittering gold, priceless paintings, and jewels. Sometimes they take the form of more subtle and sentimental items. And many treasures of this kind are passed down through families, keepsakes carefully preserved throughout the years, each with a unique story to tell. Now, come to think of it, I think I have some things like that in my attic. And historian Mike Dixon is joining us today to talk about how important it is to identify and care for these items. Mike, thank you for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me, Lisa.
You know, give us some examples, because we might have them and not realize.
Okay, yeah, you most likely absolutely do. And it's like one of the most common questions I get. Where do I find stories about my past? And just what you said right there. Do a little attic archaeology.
Yeah.
You know how surprised you might be to get up an old attic or get in an old trunk that's been stored away in the basement? Those things were really valuable. And someday, years ago, and the memory's been faded, somebody's put those family pictures, family Bibles, military records away. And you want to become the family archivist.
Yeah, because people used to put their family history in the Bibles.
Oh yeah, yeah. Whenever I'm, exactly, yeah. And so whenever I'm in an old house, I say, let's go look in the attic, because to find that family Bible with that list of generations of family is like really important, yeah.
Yeah, so do you think people underestimate the values of these things?
They do, and they kind of skew even that perception. Occasionally I'll get people call me, more often actually, and they think it's got like great monetary value, and it could be, and there are ways you check that. You go to like websites that sell used books, and it's really easy. Well, go in there if you got this book and see what it's worth, and you'll get a sense of what a retail price is. But for me, I think there's two other values. Maybe it's value to your family, where you're like the family archivist, and you're going to make sure this gets passed down, because if those Bibles, those letters, they get lost, they will be lost. And the other way, it's not for you, for community history. I'll have folks come to me and say, well, we bought the house, and there's a bunch of letters up there from Vietnam. Or one time it was like reel-to-reel, or the tapes of the era. You know how to have a young guy mailing those home to you. Yeah.
So how can folks kind of locate and identify these treasures?
So so you want to do a survey. The first thing you want to do to preserve them, you got to know what you have. And most people do not. Maybe they're busy in life and things like that. And look in the closets, look in the basements, look in the attics, gather the material together, and then you go through kind of an assessment. Maybe you don't want to keep everything. Maybe it doesn't even pertain to your family. Maybe it's too badly damaged. And from that, start digitizing them and recording them and preserving them.
Okay. Can sometimes this search for these items that date back many, many years, can they be, emotionally draining even?
Oh, much so. So think if you go in that attic, or you go in the basement in the trunk, and you find those letters from a young man who went off to war at 18 years old, and he was recording, actually had a case with somebody was recording them and sending them home. Hear that voice that may have been lost in the war or the passage of time. That is very dramatic. And I'll tell you, from my standpoint, Lisa, for me, it's the best history. To find the social history, the history of everyday stuff, people writing home from World War II, World War I, doesn't have to be that. It could be any type of experience. There's a lot of information. You don't want to let it get lost, because it gets lost is the real risk.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you say to anybody who has something and are not sure if it's valuable? What do you say to them?
So, like I say, do the identification, get your stuff together, and basically it's kind of easy to check today. Go on to one of these used rare book sites. There's one called Abe Books, abe.com, www.abe.com. And it's just a place where, like, I would buy my used books from when I need books. Well, go on there and you've got a book. Let's see what's on there. Look at the condition. Is yours a first edition? Is it badly damaged? And that's a retail price, but it'll give you an idea about monetary value. And gosh, eBay, everybody knows eBay. I can go in there, and I'll bet you if I typed in Salisbury, Maryland today, dozens of old postcards of Salisbury would come out, or Selbyville, or Dagsboro, or wherever. And it'll give you an idea about value. But don't forget that personal value too. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Dixon, historian, thank you for breaking this all down for us.
Thank you so much.
Very interesting. I have to get up in my attic really soon.